Hey yo, this is another video, so let's go. All right, I'm gonna compress this as much as I can, and so I can give you all the facts. Okay, so if anybody remembers, I'm not a football, I'm not into sports anymore like I used to be. I haven't watched sports for years now, really, but always news and sports always gets to me. So I had come to realize that the Rams had ended up moving from St. Louis all the way over to LA. But LA had the Rams years prior. But rewind time, the Rams ended up facing the Titans back in the day. And the Titans are pre-dynastic. Dynastic is like the king and queen. That what dynasty or dynastic period is. So when they face the Titans are the mothers and fathers of the so-called gods. And it's like if you look at the story of in the Necronomicon or Sumerian mythology, Tiamat and Kingu gets killed by the son that breaks out of the womb of Tiamat. It's called Marduk. He ends up killing his parents, and the parents end up becoming highly melanated people. They like the story of the Titans when Zeus hit his parents with the lightning bolt. Their body ended up turning into ash. Ash is what? Carbon. Carbon is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. That's why I say stay away from the mark of the beast, because the mark of the beast is what? It's melanin. Okay, that's why they tell people, they try to scare people out of the 666 number. But that's actually our mark of the beast is our mark is our melanin. Okay, so listen to me closely. All right. So I got some information and facts that I have dealing with the city of St. Louis. Some very, and I don't just deal with the formation of the city of St. Louis. I deal with also the French. So remember, the French purchase goes from New Orleans through St. Louis all the way up into where? Canada. So if you look at the map, if you look at the map for the U.S., the Mississippi River goes all the way up to Canada. All right. So I know we're 3 minutes in. We're making good time. I'm trying to keep you so you won't get bored. And cause trust me, I figured this out a while back, but now I'm glad I waited to make this video because it would make way more sense. And it just so happens, I'll tell you at the end of the video. But so fast forward to this time. Remember I said how everybody knows the Rams beat the Titans a few years back in the Super Bowl, right? So fast forward time. When I don't watch sports anymore, I kept finding out different things while I was, going about my day, doing my my thing or whatever. So I go to stores, I walk past newspapers or TVs or whatever, and they were saying this person got traded, this person. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. How you get Von Miller and you get Odell Beckham Jr. two of the to come here? It's a ritual they're running. So I did not know this when I wrote these notes. I was still living in St. Louis. That was in September. So like September 13th or 15th or 14th is when around that time I left the city. But I was writing notes when I finished. I felt like I finished all my spiritual stuff I needed to do there. And when I came out here, I didn't know, but I was going through some spiritual stuff too. But what I'm gonna do is, when I was looking at it, I'm like, and I found out, I was like, when I got here, I did not know the Super Bowl was gonna be here. I did not know that. So I'm like, oh, he just came here. No, I was here long before. I don't watch sports. But I'm like, but how would I know that the LA Rams will be in the Super Bowl? But the thing is, so the Rams, that, like I said before, is a dynastic period. That's like a king and queen dynastic, where you have the worship, like religion. Religion is dealing with worshiping. So, but the Bengals, now I found out who they were facing. The Bengals is dealing with the cat. The cat is what? Sekhmet. Sekhmet, people don't know, Sekhmet is a female deity that's pre-dynastic, before there was kings and queens. Like when you have Set. Set is the oldest deity in Kemet or Egypt. Like Sekhmet, she's one of the oldest, like the oldest deities in Egypt or Kemet. Cause look at, you got Set, Sekhmet. Okay, yeah. Look at the names and how they put them together. Aset, Set, Sekhmet. Like these names sound familiar. They sound the same because they come from an older time, a primordial time. So a primordial period means your prime. Prime, they say primitive. Primitive and prime is the same thing. That means the oldest. You've been there the long time. A savage is someone that does anything or distraught or destroy anything, or like you see like people wearing savage shirts and all of that, savage hoodies and all of that. But primitive is what was prime, that was there first. That means they're not a savage. That means they was there first or a lot older than what there are. What a savage is. So a savage is a way of thinking, or a savage mind. So when I found out they were facing the Bengals, I was like, okay, this is another ritual. I didn't know this was going on before I got here. My ancestors told me to come here. I only move when the ancestors tell me to move. So let me get right into the information. So first, before I get into the information, I would say, if you're a highly melanated person, or a so-called black person, you should be, regardless of team or city, you should be rooting for the Bengals, because that means that brings on more of a older state. That means we're the prime or primitive people in every country, every continent. We're the prime. We can see people that look like us everywhere, but you don't see people that look like everybody else in the world, around the world. And we're the ones that go through it. Not, they say, like people that go through a hardship, like they say, like the Jews at the Holocaust. That's only a few years. See, they only lost like a couple 100,000 people. They put extras on it if it's more than like 500,000, or that's around the number. But we have like highly melanated people, or so-called black people, have, there's no comparison into that. So we're the people that they're saying that they are, but we're those original people. So I'm gonna give you a lot of information. So just, you can go. I'm gonna give you my source. The source that I'm getting everything from is from Wikipedia, and you're gonna see it in my notes too. Also, all right. So here we go. Okay, St. Louis is an independent city. Okay, a city that is not in the territory of any county, or counties, classified by the U.S. Census Bureau as equivalents of a county, and may also have governmental powers to a consolidated city county. All right, so you can, like I said, St. Louis, this source, you can find out. You can see the flags and all that, the football, sports teams, hockey, all that, baseball. You can see the source. You go to the source, Wikipedia, and they'll give you all this information I'm giving you too also. Okay, let me get started. I got a few pages to get through. I'm going to just be reading. Okay, I'm trying not to do a lot of interjection, okay? All right, let's go. St. Louis is the second largest city in Missouri, in the United States. It sits near the confluence of the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers on the western bank of the Mississippi River. Mississippi, Isis, the Genesis, the gene of Isis. Okay, listen to me. Stay focused. As of 2020, the city proper means it is the geographical area contained within city limits. The term proper is not exclusive to cities it can describe. The geographical area contained within the city limits. Hold on, back on the same line. The term proper is not exclusive to cities it can describe. Okay, here we go. The geographical area within the boundaries of any given locality. The United Nations defines the term as the single political jurisdiction which contains the historical city center. The single political jurisdiction which contains the historical city center. City proper is one of the three basic concepts used to define urban areas and populations. Okay, let's see what okay. Let me see where we at. The city had a population of around 301,500, which the bi-state metropolitan area, which extends to Illinois. So you have East St. Louis, which is in Illinois, and you have St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so where we at? To Illinois had an estimated population of over 2.8 million, making it the largest metropolitan area in Missouri, the second largest in Illinois. Nicknames: Gateway to the West. If you ride up, if you go on to where the Mississippi River is, you will find the gateway arch. That's why they call it the Gateway to the West. So Gateway to the West is when once you get past that, you actually heading west. And that's actually a ritual, like I put in the video when I was out there. You can do the same thing too also. A ritual, you can do that. The Gateway City, Mound City, they have a lot of Indian mounds out there. That's the largest Indian mound in the United States, is in East St. Louis. That's really none in St. Louis. And it just so happens all of the highly melanated people and so-called black people live in St. Louis instead of East St. Louis. Because that's where all the highly melanated people used to live years prior. Let's keep going. All right. Mound City, the Lou, Rome of the West, River City, the STL, and St. Louis. It was founded, now listen to me close. It was founded on February 14th, 1764. All right. Now, I was like, that's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird. February 14th. I was like, let me go. I did some more research other places too. So you gotta when you're doing research, like when you're doing mythology or any type of research, it's best to do a lot of cross-referencing. When you have a lot of things that are into the same vein of something, you should always delve into that other piece of research, because it could be something that can further your research into something more major that you can open your eyes up to a lot more things, which I'm going to do in this video. Trust me, it gets way deeper. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre on February the 14th, 1929, okay? That happened. With the whole thing with Al Capone and all of them back in the day, out in Chicago. Right? If you go up the Mississippi River, you know what I'm talking about. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. All these things I'm putting, you can go look them up yourself too also. Check behind me. If I'm doing something wrong, you should leave notes like, hey, this is wrong. No, if it do, leave notes. But trust me, I'm did my due diligence. As when you see me writing all this stuff, I made sure it wasn't just off of memory. I wanted to make sure when I did that in September of 2021, I wanted to make sure, I didn't know this was going to be what it was. But I just was so interested or intrigued about St. Louis when I was out there. All right. So, right here, that's 165 years later from the day that the St. Louis Day massacre actually happened, right? So, if you look at Aleister Crowley, the number 156 is actually the number of Babylon. So did I just say Babylon is or ISIS is the waters? The waters is what? Blood. Babylon is what? The scarlet woman. The scarlet woman is what? When a woman is on her period or when she's on her cycle. Okay, stay with me. It's not. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, highly melanated men or so-called black men, we should be having sex with our highly melanated woman or so-called black woman while she's on her period too. It's actual power, and you can also manifest things into existence too. Also, you know. So let's keep going. And that's exactly 165 years later. So, but plus 92 is 2021. But hold on. If you go into like I said, Aleister Crowley, with the Book of the Law, there's a number called 93. At the time, I was still, like I said, in 2021, I was still in St. Louis. So fast forward 2022, that would be what? 93. 93 is a number of what? AWAS. That's 93 years. If you do it from February 14, 1764 to 19, let me see, into 2022, that would be 93 years. From that time to that time, that would be 257 years total, actually. Well, 258 years, actually. It would be 2022. All right, let's keep going. St. Louis is named after Louis the Ninth of France. Okay, of France. The ninth arch of St. Louis arch, gateway of the West, Osiris and Amenta. Amenta is like hell. In Amenta, when he has to die, he has to raise himself up. But he brings his son in. They say Asar or Osiris. His son is Heru or Horus. It depends on where you at, but you can look at both of those. Heru is Heru, or Horus is Horus. Okay, stay with me. Okay, St. Louis is named after, like I said before, Louis the Ninth of France. You can look them up later if you like to also. Before European settlement, the area was a regional center of Native American Mississippian culture. St. Louis was founded February 14, 1764 by French fur traders who named it for St. Louis the Ninth of France. In 1764, following France's defeat in the 7 Years' War, the area was ceded to Spain. In 1800, 36 years later, 3 plus 6 is 9, the 9 ether, it was retroceded to France, which sold it 3 years later to the United States as part of the what? The Louisiana Purchase. Remember I told you the Mississippi River, it starts like where New Orleans is. Remember why they have all those hurricanes? Because remember, like those people that was the Louisiana Purchase, as in the settlement, but also of slavery too also. And they had a lot of highly melanated people that were already living there as what we will call indigenous or Indians there. And there are Indian mounds in Louisiana, South Louisiana, outside of right in New Orleans. Okay, so I'm just keeping it real, keeping it real, and it's not very hard to find. All you can do is ride around, and you'll see it. So it's not very far or hard to find at all. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. It's over in Kenner, Louisiana. The Indian Mound is in Kenner, Louisiana. So if you're a highly melanated person, so-called black person, in Kenner, Louisiana, across the street from a Walgreens, where there's a old retirement home, but there's a field right next to it. My ancestors showed me. That's where the Indian Mound is. I trust me. I know. I know by me going to so many Indian mounds, I found the clues, and the ancestors brought it right to me. I would do rituals out there, all that. But you can go there, you can see a sign that says for land for sale and all of that. But that's just like to distract you from going there. But that's actually an Indian mound. Those are Indian mounds out there. You got like maybe about 3 or 4 Indian mounds, really. So the closer you get to water, always notice anywhere about water, Indians or Aboriginals, they will always put their Indian mounds. They have them right next to the water. So why wouldn't you live by water? They always were smart because you can feed yourself, clean your water, drink your water, whatever it is. You can catch food out of there too, also. So why would they not live around water-based areas? Chaos. Let's keep going. So you can find that Indian Mound in Kenner, Louisiana. Even the people that live there don't know where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So they. But anyway, let me keep going. Okay, let's get. Okay, the Louisiana Purchase. The city was then the point of embarkation for the corpse of discovery on the Lewis and Clark expedition. You can find the Lewis and Clark right off the Mississippi River in St. Louis, Missouri. East St. Louis, Illinois, actually. Okay, let's keep going. In the 19th century, which would be like in the 1800s, St. Louis became a major port on the Mississippi River from 1870 until the 1920 census. It was the 4th largest city in the country. It separated from St. Louis County in 1877, becoming an independent city and limiting its own political boundaries. So they damn near pretty much is like another country almost. Pretty much is. Let's keep going. St. Louis. So remember, St. Louis is named after a French, Louis the Ninth. Okay, like I said, let me see. St. Louis had a brief run as a world-class city in the early 20th century, in the 1900s, in 1904. But ain't that funny? Now, ain't that funny? In 1904, Aleister Crowley, AWAS, like I said, the number 93, you can find in the Book of the Law. AWAS, Aleister Crowley, he wrote the Book of the Law, or AWAS wrote the Book of the Law as the physical embodiment of Aleister Crowley. Let's keep going. So you can always look that up. Aleister Crowley, Book of the Law, or the Book of Liber Al, pretty much. In 1904, it hosted the Louisiana Purchase Exposition and the Summer Olympics. Sidebar. Oh, I did write to the notes. I wasn't even thinking. 1904 was the same year the Book of the Law was written. Louis the Ninth of France was commonly known as Saint Louis, or Saint Louis the Saint and King of France from 1226 to 1270. That's 44 years. Was from the direct Capetians. He was crowned the Reims at the age of 12, following the death of his father, Louis VIII. His mother, Blanche of Castile, ruled the kingdom as regent until he reached maturity, honoring a vow he had made while praying for recovery during a serious illness. Louis IX led the ill-fated 7th and 8th Crusades against the Ayyubids, Bahriya, the Mamluks, and Hafsid Kingdom. Now, I'm saying, wait a minute, what is these names? Don't even sound like they're around here. It's nowhere near this area or near the French area. So, like I say, you do your due diligence, and do your own studies. You extend your study. You can find out way more than what you're expecting to. Okay, Ayyubids are what? Sunni Muslim. Okay, let's keep going. Those are highly melanated, so-called black people. Let's keep it going. Of Kurdish origin in Yemen, Iraq, and Nubian, Hijaz, Tarabulus, Cyrenaica, Anatolia, in Egypt. So these are all countries in like the northern, like the southern Mediterranean and the northern north of Africa. But aren't all these areas are now by the Arabs, Arab people now. These are not like highly melanated people. They get the blue black people or the dark skin or highly melanated so-called black people get treated so badly out there. Okay, now we get treated badly everywhere we are. Okay, let's just keep it real and real shit. So now it's something I don't want to say nothing right now about that, but I'm gonna keep going so you can see where I'm coming from with this shit. Bahiriya. Yeah, hold on, let me get my arms right. Kind of Bahiriya. Mamluks is Egyptian. Okay, Hafsid Kingdom is Sunni Muslim of Berber descent. Libya, Tunisia, and eastern Algeria. Louis IX was captured and ransomed. He died from dysentery. I was like, dysentery? What is that? You got to extend your research in order to find out what certain things mean, okay? When you look up a word and you don't know what the shit mean, it only will take you about 5 minutes. Get your motherfucking Google and then type the word in, and it'll come right to you, and you start making things make sense to you, okay? Or I stayed in damn near, everything came from Wikipedia. Wikipedia, and I use other sources to verify just to make sure it wasn't some BS or bullshit, okay? So you do the same thing. You verify yourself behind your actual actual citations, okay, wherever you're going at. Just like they say in school, school ain't gonna teach you everything, but they're gonna teach you how to learn or how you can study in order to learn. They ain't gonna teach you bullshit, a lot of falsehoods. It's up to you to learn how to learn while you're in school. So the public school system or whatever, that's what it's basically used for. I don't even know how I got out of school, but I did. But I'm doing genius shit outside of school. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, dysentery is a type of hold on. Dysentery is a type of gastroenter. It is that results in bloody diarrhea. He had a bloody diarrhea, right? How he died. I wrote it down, so gotta fix the book real quick so you can see everything I wrote. Okay. He had a bloody diarrhea before he died. Other symptoms may include fever, abdominal pain, and a feeling of incomplete defecation. I mean, if it'll feel like you're done, but you're still like it'll feel like you're not done when you could be done. So it's like eating and then you feel like you have more left inside, like you still have more to come out. So that's like a terrible feeling. You feel like you're done and you still feel like you taking the shit. That's the worst feeling. But anyway, keep going. I want so I want you to stay with me and get this information. You're gonna get this work. Well, complications may include dehydration. That's why they say always drink water. And then your bowel movement come out with a lot easier. He was succeeded by his son Philip III. Louis the Ninth, so you can see where I'm at too, was inspired by Christianity and Catholicism. All right, that's Catholic and Christian faith, okay, or religions. Enforcing strict Catholic orthodoxy. His laws punish blasphemy by mutilation of the tongue and lips. He ordered the burning of some 12,000 manuscript copies of the Talmud and other important Hebrew highly melanated people or so-called black people. The Talmud is like the Hebrew, so that's why I said earlier. So that's why so like I said, the Talmud and other important Hebrew. So like I said, he was going to areas where highly melanated people and so-called black people were. So that just goes to show you they were taking these religious or spiritual books and really making it something. What if he's not agreeing with the religion or some people's spiritual practices, they're actually doing what supposedly say, oh, Hitler did this and Hitler did that. So like this same guy that was actually doing this to highly melanated people, I don't ever feel like Hitler was wrong for what he was doing. I really don't. But he had learned something. But anyway, I don't want to give nothing away, and certain people get to learn something outside of the highly melanated people and black people. But I'm gonna keep going. Like the Holocaust, I don't feel like that was nowhere near our Holocaust. Still goes up to this day. If you go to L.A., you see the mismatch of number of people with the Latinos and the so-called highly melanated people and so-called black people. So that's what I'm saying. Let's keep going. I want to give you all the facts and keep going from there, and so it makes sense to you and you get an understanding where I'm coming from. Okay, he is the only canonized king of France, and there are consequently many places named after him. Canonized means declaration of a deceased person as an unofficially recognized saint. That's why it's Saint Louis. It would have just been Louis the Ninth or Louis, but that's why they named it Saint Louis. Okay, Saint Valentine. Well, all right, now this is. I'll say. Let me go to Valentine, because remember, February the 14th is when St. Louis, the city was started. Okay, so let's keep going. Oh, hold on. Okay, so it was St. Louis was founded in February the 14th, 1764. All right, so Saint Valentine was a 3rd century Roman saint from Rome. Remember, he said Christianity and Catholicism, Rome or the Catholics, Vatican City. That's where the Pope and that's the same layout as Egypt. So they take the same layout from in like the Rome anciently had highly melanated people, so-called black people there too. So you got to think about it. If he's killing people, if they're not going with this, they're brandishing people with their form of brutality through what they see as the right way for everybody to be living. So if everybody's not living that way, they're gonna kill people off. So how can they get mad at people if Hitler is doing this to protect his people because of the way that certain European Jews were raising prices on certain things and putting Adolf Hitler people in a bind. So he rose himself up in front of the people, and he became a leader and ousted the people that damn near raised wages to the point where they can't even live. Isn't that the same thing that's happening to highly melanated people in Los Angeles and damn near all over the U.S. because they letting Latinos come in? They said forget the gate. They just let people come in. They just make it feel like they don't want them to be here. They want them here in order to get highly melanated people out here. You can't keep a job. That means how can you take care of yourself? How can you take care of your family? That's the point. It's like a buffer zone so they can keep them away from so-called white people. White people, they can't be around our energy. But that's another thing I found out. Latino people can't be around your energy if you're doing if you're on your spiritual path and doing certain things. You'll see what I'm talking. You'll know what I'm talking about. Trust me, I know what's going on. But let me get back to what I'm doing. I can probably get back into it a little. I'm probably gonna make this. I'm not trying to make this too long, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from and why the Super Bowl is happening the way it's happening. On February the 13th, the day before February the 14th, the day that St. Louis the day that St. Louis was started. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, let me read this line back over again. Saint Valentine was a 3rd century Roman saint commemorated in Western Christianity on February the 14th, and in Eastern Orthodoxy on July the 6th. This is July the 6th. So from the High Middle Ages, his Saint's Day has been associated with a tradition of courtly love. Let's keep going. A clergyman, priest, or bishop in the Roman Empire who ministered to persecuted Christians. He was considered a martyr and his body buried at a Christian cemetery on the Via Flaminia on February the 14th, which has been observed as a feast of Saint Valentine since 496 AD. His skull, crowned with flowers, is exhibited in the Basilica of Santa Maria in Cosmedin, Rome. The Catholic encyclopedias speak of 3 Saints Valentines. There's 3 of them that appear in connection with February the 14th. One was I'm writing you a 4-page letter. Roman priest, another the bishop on Inter Ama, both buried along the Via Flaminia outside Rome at different distances from the city. The third was said to be a saint who suffered on the same day with a number of companions in the Roman province of Africa. Another one over in Africa. What are they doing? Making people take their religion. So they if you go to Africa now, all those people they have them like brainwashed so bad. How we were like when we was in slavery. They're the same way when they would beat it into you. So like when they say colonialism or apartheid, that was the same thing because Britain was in South Africa. Let's keep going though. Okay. Let's same distances from the city. The third was said to be a saint who suffered on the same day with a number of companions in the Roman province of Africa, of whom nothing else is known. St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So like I said, extend your research. The SVDM was the murder 1929 of 7 members and associates of Chicago's North Side Gang that occurred on Valentine's Day. The men were gathered at a Lincoln Park garage on the morning that feast day, February the 14th. That's when the shooting happened. So think about this. There's a rock group named Lincoln Park, too, also back in the day. But I found out the lead singer, he committed suicide, supposedly. You know how they play. But anyway, let's keep going. The incident resulted from the struggle to control organized crime in the city during Prohibition between the Irish Northsiders. So you will have the Irish and you will have the Italians. But what's now the North side is what? The nice like supposedly like the nice side of Chicago. You go on the south side, that's where everything be happening, right? So if they won the war and they set those guys up in there shooting, this is the same crimes. That's what I came to the conclusion. These crimes are the same crimes that are going on since back that day. They just won a gang war or a powerful struggle in a land. All right, let's keep going. The incident resulted from the struggle to control organized crime in the city during Prohibition between the Irish Northsiders, headed by George Bugs Moran and their Italian Southside gang rivals led by Al Capone. The perpetrators have never been caught or identified. Egan's Rats gang working for Capone are suspected of a role as are members of the Chicago Police Department who would allegedly wanted revenge for the killing of a police officer's son. Now, all you have to do is you wear the colors or like something that a rival gang would do, and that would set off something to the point where they'll think that gang did it, and then they'll throw that whole thing off. Now, ain't that the same thing that happened? Now, think about it. This thing kind of happened out of nowhere. The whole thing with Slim 400 and Draco the Ruler. They trying to start up some stuff out here again with the gangs. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't no gang member or none of that shit. But I'm just keeping it real. They sacrificing certain people in order to have people that's in order to have like a big gang warfare going on again. Same shit, just this is a different city. All right, let's keep it going. The motivation for the plan may have been the fact that some expensive whiskey illegally imported from Canada, Canada all the way down to New Orleans is what? The Mississippi River. And what's on the Mississippi River? St. Louis. Let's keep going. Via the Detroit River. Now you think about this. Matt Stafford, he played for Detroit Lions, and they would lose. Now he get to the Rams, they win. He win the first year they're there. They give Matt Stafford. Okay, keep going. You got to keep the people in those cities down. Like in Detroit, you got to keep. They used to have like the car dealership back in the day. Now when the car dealership left, the city is no longer like thriving. It's a hustler city. A real hustler city out there, But let's keep going. Canada via the Detroit River had been hijacked while it was being transported to Cook County, Illinois. Purple Gang, Detroit, Jewish, Here we go again. Let's keep going. Jewish North Side gang, Irish, and South Side gang, Italian. The garage had been rented by a man calling himself Frank Rogers, who gave his address as 1859 West North Avenue. This was the address of the Circus Cafe operated by Claude Maddox, a former St. Louis gangster with ties to the Capone gang. It's a setup. It's how everything goes down. It's a setup. Operated by Claude Maddox, a former St. Louis gangster with ties to the Capone gang, the Purple gang, and the St. Louis gang. Egan's Rats. Let me see. Egan's Rats. Jack McGurn's charges was dropped due to the Mann Act. So I look like, what's the Mann Act? So that's like White Slave Traffic Act. So it's like it was one. I don't know if I have it in. I'm gonna keep. Well, let me see. I think I do have it in here. But anyway, I remember when I wrote this down. One of the members of the gang, he was caught with somebody that was like underage, and it was looked at as trafficking. So they looked at it as sex trafficking when he was pulled over. When they found him because they released him on what was called the Mann Act because he had took a young woman from where she was into another city, to another area or city. Okay, that's what that means, the Mann Act, White Slave Traffic Act. And he was like, he just took her with her. But anyway, let's keep going. A felony to transport, here we go, I did write it down. A felony to transport any woman or girl for the purpose of prostitution, immorality, and human trafficking. All right. Chicago Blackhawks, right? Blackhawks is what? Primitive Aboriginal people, the first people. St. Louis Blackhawks. Blackhawks is what? Same thing. All right. Aboriginal American, so-called Indian people. All right. Now let's look at this. Hawk is what? Horus, Heru. Those are deities. Deities are so-called gods. Okay, deities, the actual word for deity is actually older than the word God. Okay, keep going. That equals black people. All right, or highly melanated people, so-called black people. St. Louis Cardinals equals the clergyman. Cardinal. I'm gonna get in that too. A clergy. Like when you say a person is a cardinal, I'm gonna get into that too. That's why they named the Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals equals clergyman, not the bird that they have as their emblem. It's not the logo. It's the Cardinals as in Catholic. Then I wrote down what a cardinal is. Are the most senior members of the clergy of the Catholic Church, being second in precedence only to the Pope. They are appointed to the mark of cardinal, in addition to their existing position within the church. Cardinals of working age are also appointed to roles overseeing a dicastery. Dicastery is a department of the Roman Curia, the administration of the Holy See, jurisdiction of the Bishop of Rome, known as the Pope, which includes the apostolic episcopal see of the Diocese of Rome, with universal ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the worldwide Catholic Church, as well as a sovereign entity of international law governing the Vatican City, through which the Pope directs the Roman Catholic Church. So they're running a ritual all the way from Rome through France, through Louisiana, all the way up to St. Louis all the way to LA. But look, now this is the kicker. Now, Latino people are what? They're mainly what? Catholic. It's a bunch of Catholic people hoping the Rams win. Now, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is like in September I wrote this down. I didn't know what was going to be happening. I'm glad I listened to my answers for me to put this together and make full, complete sense of this shit. This is why St. Louis is a true independent city, because it's not really ran by America. It's really ran by Rome. They're the mascot of the Pope, the Cardinal, second in command. They're second in command inside the church, like I just read you. They're second in command underneath the Pope. Okay, let's keep going. St. Louis Blues equals what? The Mississippi Blues Trail. And what? Now, this is another thing I found out. That trail is Highway 61. Highway 61 runs through Kenner and all the way through New Orleans, Louisiana, and it goes all the way up. It goes all the way up on the side of the Mississippi River. That's where all the blues singers and all that come from. All those damn near come all the way up that area. I rode the blues trail all the way up into St. Louis from New Orleans. Trust me. All right. It's related to the birth, growth, and influences of the blues throughout the state of Mississippi. Within the state, the trail extends from the Gulf Coast north along several highways. The largest concentration of markers is in the Mississippi. Why would it be in Mississippi? Because Isis is the gene of Isis. Genesis, like they say Genesis in the Bible, the first book, gene of Isis or Iset. Let's keep going. Concentration of markers is in the Mississippi Delta. But other regions of the state are also commemorated. Several out-of-state markers have also been erected where blues with Mississippi roots has had significance, such as Chicago, Buddy Guy, okay? It runs all the way up north, okay? The blue, that's why they say all these people came from the South and went up north. It was a travel. It was a lot of people was traveling in different areas. The house, okay, now I say, watch this. So I said, I found out that, like I was reading about Louis and his Louis IX and his son. He had a son too named. They have it's also a house of bourbon. When I was living in New Orleans, there's a bourbon street. They let you do anything you want there. But the bourbon, and this is where this ties in at. The bourbon is the house of bourbon, like the House of Atreides. If you watch the Dune movies, the one from 1984 and the one from 2021. The House of Bourbon. Now watch this. Is a European dynasty of French origin, a branch of Capetian dynasty, the royal house of France. Bourbon kings first ruled France and Navarre in the 16th century. By the 18th century, members of the Spanish Bourbon dynasty held thrones in Spain, Naples, Sicily, and Parma. Spain and Luxembourg have monarchs of the House of Bourbon. The House of Bourbon founder is Robert, Count of Clermont, the sixth son of King Louis, King Louis IX of France. Married Beatrice of Bourbon. The royal Bourbons originated in 1272, where the youngest son of King Louis IX married the heiress of the lordship of Bourbon. The house continued for 3 centuries as a cadet branch, serving as nobles under the direct Capation, and as nobles under the direct Capation and Valoris kings. The senior line of the House of Bourbon became extinct. In the male line in 1527 with the death of Charles III, Duke of Bourbon. This made the junior Bourbon Vendome branch the genealogically senior branch of the House of Bourbon. In 1589, at the death of Henry III of France, the House of Valois became extinct, and the male line underneath the Salic law, the head of the House of Bourbon as the senior representative of the senior surviving branch of the Capetian dynasty, became King of France as Henry IV. Bourbon monarchs then united to France the small kingdom of Navarre, which Henry's father and acquired by marriage in 1555, ruling both until the 1792 overthrow of the monarchy. During the French Revolution, restored briefly in 1814 and definitely in 1815 after the fall of the First French Empire, the senior line of the Bourbons was finally overthrown in the July Revolution of 1830. A cadet Bourbon branch, the House of Orleans, New Orleans. All we are is just a new branch of the old line. That's why all these cities are named this way. This is like they call it America, but these are all just the heirs of these people that died in European occupation. Then it ruled for 18 years, from 1830 to 1848, until it too was overthrown. So now, in closing, you can say all that to say this. In closing, what they're doing is the ritual-wise football. When you're giving energy and cheering for a team or whatever, highly melanated people, regardless, it don't matter if your favorite players on the team, or whatever, your favorite team or whatever. The Rams, if you're a highly melanated so-called black person, you shouldn't be. I'm gonna release this video before the night of the Super Bowl tonight, actually, which is the 12th, and tomorrow's the 13th. So the 14th, y'all should know. You should be like, baby, I don't think we should be celebrating Valentine's Day. You just do something different or something. Because what they're doing is actually just running a ritual. So when they give you Valentine's Day, even though the actual Eros is actually a deity from Rome, you can look at it that way. But like if you look at it on Valentine's Day, it's like a day of love. So if you want, you can like choose to do something totally different, that you don't do the whole cards and the flowers or whatever, and can't do something totally different, because you know the places gonna be packed. Now think about this. I was thinking about this too also. Every year, when I used to celebrate Valentine's Day, they used to have basketball playing. But don't you know that the All-Star game has pushed their basketball game a week later, so the football can get their full ritual going? Because this is way more important than a game, because the All-Star game is usually when people around the same time or the same day of what? Valentine's Day. So if it's around that same time, they said it's gonna be this ritual is actually more important. That's why they gave them an extra week, in order for them to. Because remember, Whitney Houston was killed on February 11th. February 11th, 2 times 11 is 22. That's the number of Ma'at. Ma'at, she had a song called "I'm Every Woman," I'm every woman. Ma'at is a version of every woman in the world or every deity. From Ma'at came Isis, came Aset, came all these different females. So highly melanated women, so-called black women, you have the gene of Isis in your blood. The sacred waters is in your blood. So when they have red as the color of Valentine's Day, because they going off of your emotions, they raising off your emotions. So I'm not doing it the day of Valentine's Day. I'm doing something totally different. My mind won't even be on that. So I would advise like highly melanated people, so-called black people, they using our love or wanting to be in love against us as a ritual. So we can do it on a different day or whatever, but that's what this is about. They're using the Super Bowl once it's over. They want the Rams to win. That's why they're doing it. That's why they're back in LA where a whole bunch of Catholic Latinos are at, and they can be kissing on their rosaries and all of that shit. So they can be trying to bring that energy to win. So if they win, it'll roll right into what? The same day that St. Louis was birthed, which is what? A guy that persecuted black people outside of America or inside America too. So if you see, they still persecuting us because what? All the gang killers, like I said, the Saint Valentine's Day massacre, that's the shit that's still damn near still going. The massacre, it's a massacre going on in Chicago all the time. It's the shit still going on in Detroit. They're using our own power against us. We are the ancient people. These Latinos, these white people, these so-called white Asians, all these white Latinos, they're actually waiting for us to destroy ourselves. But this is something that's supposed to be happening in order for us to becoming stronger. But are the ones that's supposed to be like shaking themselves out of this shit, you're gonna be actually making yourself stronger over time. So this is a full ritual. So in order for you to like I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't give my energy or watch the game at all. All I would say is, if anything, just root for the. If I would just say the Bengals, just say the Bengals because that's actually going. I'm not from Cincinnati. So this guy from Cincinnati. No, I'm not at all. So all you have to do is think of just think about your ancestors, and your ancestors will know what you're doing. You're not going for the ram, because the ram you gotta what they would praise or worship the ram, but the as the cat, that means you were your deity. You were actually raising your own self up, raised your own self up as a deity. And back in those times, you were a deity, as in Sekhmet is the cat. Sekhmet is the Sphinx. It's a woman and a cat. That's what the Sphinx is, in the middle of the earth. So what the earth is a reflection of your body. The earth has 70% water, and the earth has 70% water. If the Sphinx is in the middle, is measured in the middle of the earth, and the ancestors were telling you you're supposed to lead with your heart. Lead with your heart. And if you're leading with your heart and you don't want this ritual to go through, the answers can you don't got to be the knowing all this and all that. They can tell by your heart, which is what that's why it's the symbol of love. Valentine's Day, your love for raising yourself up spiritually, and that's why they're called the Cardinals in St. Louis and all of that. And they moved them from L.A. To St. Louis and back into LA again, in order to get that power, to have that power over highly melanated so-called black people. That's an hour and 3 minutes, an hour and 4 minutes right there. All I can say, hey, if you watch this video before the date, I'm gonna post it up tonight before the 13th. If you watch this video and you still do regardless, your ancestors know your heart. It's like saying to people, like, if you get the information and you decide to go against the information, like newly learned information that ancestors give you, your ancestors know your true heart, and they know what you are, and they will turn their back on you. So so regardless, I love my ancestors. I'ma always keep doing the work. I say, they say, nigga, keep doing the work. We love what you doing. You trying to open eyes of your people. Hey, that's what this whole thing is about. That's all That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. You might or might not see me again, but I know one thing: my ancestors got my back. To all deities known and unknown, I say, I'm doing this just to say this. Also, before I get up out of here, don't let the physical be stronger than your mind and your love for what you can make some change with. All right. That's it. That's it for this video. I finally got it done. I started on this in September and finally ended it off the day before. I had to make sure I got everything out before I put the video out. And I love my ancestors and I love my niggas.